Viewers, myself R.P. Srivastava with a new topic in economics. The topic is Kalki's degree of monopoly theory of income distribution. As before, I have presented one more theory of income distribution that is given by Calder. Today, I am going to discuss Kalki's degree of monopoly theory of income distribution. This is one of the important theory as Calder has categorized or systematized the macro aspects of income distribution. So let us proceed with Kalki's degree of monopoly theory of income distribution. According to M. Kalki, the distribution of national income into wages and profits depends upon the degree of monopoly in the economy. Here, the focus point that is taken by Calder is factor prices in macroeconomics are decided on the basis of degree of monopoly that prevails in the economy at that very time. In his study, Kalki categorized the two factors that get their share in national income, that is called wages and profits. So he divided the total national income in two broad parts under the theory of macro distribution, that is wages and profits. For this, he used A.P. Lerner's microeconomic measurement of monopoly. Here, it is to be noted that Kalki used the A.P. Lerner's microeconomic perspective of measuring monopoly to decide the macro evaluation of the distribution of national income. As average revenue and marginal cost, the difference between two divided by average revenue is the value of degree of monopoly as the equation given by Professor A.P. Lerner. So AR minus MC divided by AR, or it may be termed as, if P is the AR and MC is equal to M. Suppose AR, that is price, is equal to P, and MC, that is marginal cost, is equal to M, then the degree of monopoly will be equal to P minus M divided by P. Here, marginal cost MC बराबर M includes cost of labor and raw materials per unit of output, and cost of labor includes wages of only manual labor. Here, this is an important point in this distribution theory, that wages includes the payment that goes to laborers, manual laborers, and expenditure on raw materials per unit of output. And the value, the income that goes to salaried or white collar workers are included in the income of capitalist class. Thus, P minus M indicates profits per unit of output and include entrepreneurial profits inclusive of dividends and aggregate overhead costs, that is interest, depreciation and sales. Having all this, we can say that two parts, that is national income, in which national income is divided, that is wages and profits. Wages includes payment that goes to manual laborers and expenditure on raw materials, while profits includes all other things. So P minus M, here P is the price, and if we subtract marginal cost, we find the value of total profit or profit that includes interest, depreciation, aggregate dividends and salaries of the white collar workers. Kalki's degree of monopoly theory of income distribution is based upon some assumptions, and the assumptions are: the first, the firm produces below maximum capacity, that is always there have excess capacity. Second, it also assumes that short run marginal cost curve equals the short run average cost curve on manual labor and raw materials to a certain point, and that is the point of practical capacity. So Kalki talks about that there always lie the excess capacity in the market, by where firm having the excess capacity than that capacity on which it generally produces. So it works upon less than its capacity that it has. In other terms, in the real world, an enterprise is seldom employed beyond the practical capacity, a fact which is therefore a demonstration of general market imperfection and widespread monopolies and oligopolies. As there is the tendency of monopoly and oligopolies in the market in general parlance, this is explained by Kalki that this becomes possible that firm having maximum capacity or excess capacity and it produces less than that of their capacity it has. In next two slides, I will try to explain Kalki's degree of monopoly theory of income distribution through mathematical formulation that will use some well-known terms used through its symbols. Here, on the basis of assumptions, learners measure of degree of monopoly. A single firm is denoted by mu, and mu is equal to P minus M divided by P. That is, degree of monopoly represented by mu is the ratio of price minus marginal cost divided by price. As assumed that marginal cost is equal to M and that is equal to average cost, that is A, we can write that mu is equal to P minus A divided by A, or P mu is equal to P minus A. Now P minus A represents gross capitalist income per unit of output of the employer. The total gross capitalist income of the employer is X capital P mu is equal to X multiplied by P minus A, where X is the total output of the firm. So XP mu is equal to X into P minus A where X is the total output of the firm. The gross capitalist income of all the firm in the economy is sigma xp mu is equal to sigma xp minus A. Here sigma xp is the total value of the output of all the goods produced and sold in the economy, or aggregate turnover, that is T of the economy. T is made up of the value of gross national product plus the value of raw materials produced and sold. Now, sigma xp mu divided by T is equal to sigma x multiplied by P minus A divided by T, or sigma P mu divided by sigma xp is equal to sigma x multiplied by P minus A divided by T. Sigma xp mu or sigma xp is the expression for the weighted average of the micro degrees of monopoly, mu, or it is the micro degree of monopoly, mu bar. Here we differentiate in between micro degrees of monopoly by denoting its through sigma, while macro degree of monopoly denoted by mu bar. So mu bar is equal to sigma x into P minus A divided by T, that is gross capital income divided by aggregate turnover. So in this way, Kalki explained that how degree of monopoly play its role in dividing the total income in two factors, the prices, that is wages and profit. Here Kalki considers the distribution of national income, total national income takes place only in terms of wages and profits. Kalki's degree of monopoly theory of income distribution is based upon some assumptions, and the assumptions are: the first, the firm produces below maximum capacity, that is always there have excess capacity. Second, it also assumes that short run marginal cost curve equals the short run average cost curve on manual labor and raw materials to a certain point, and that is the point of practical capacity. So Kalki talks about that there always lie the excess capacity in the market, by where firm having the excess capacity than that capacity on which it generally produces. So it works upon less than its capacity that it has. In other terms, in the real world, an enterprise is seldom employed beyond the practical capacity, a fact which is therefore a demonstration of general market imperfection and widespread monopolies and oligopolies. As there is the tendency of monopoly and oligopolies in the market in general parlance, this is explained by Kalki that this becomes possible that firm having maximum capacity or excess capacity and it produces less than that of their capacity it has. Before coming to the critical evaluation of Kalecki's degree of monopoly theory of income distribution, let us discuss labor's share in national income and degree of monopoly, and what is the interrelation in between the two through two slides, one after another now. In first slide, we see that the share of wages, that is W, in the national income, that is Y, may be considered. Here, profit is equal to sigma x P minus A, that is equal to total national income minus wage share. Thus, mu bar, that is macro degree of monopoly power, is equal to sigma x P minus A divided by T, that is total income, national income minus wage share divided by T, or mu bar, that is macro degree of monopoly power multiplied by ratio of total turnover with wage share, is equal to national income into wage share divided by total turnover into ratio of total turnover and wage share. So mu bar multiplied by T by W is equal to Y by W minus 1, or W by Y is equal to 1 plus mu bar T by W. Here W by Y is equal to 1 by 1 plus mu bar multiplied by T by W. Thus, the relative share of wages in the national income, here W by Y is inversely related to the degree of monopoly power and T by W. The laborer's share will be reduced due to a rise in the degree of monopoly power, as also because T by W is increased by a rise in degree of monopoly, since this raises price in relation to wages. Here, Calder's explanation of constancy of labor share in income. T by W can also change as a result of change in the price of basic raw materials in relation to wage costs in the industries, and this rise will reduce the labor's share, that is wage share divided by total income, and vice versa. Thus, a rise in the degree of monopoly as well as a rise in the prices of basic raw materials in relation to wage cost will cause a fall in the share of labor in the national income. Coming to business cycle, during the depression period, the degree of monopoly tends to increase, but as a compensation, the prices of basic raw materials falls, thus keeping labor share in terms of Y, it means total income, constant. On the other hand, during boom period, increases competition and fresh entry, and thus reduce the degree of monopoly, but the price of raw materials also rise, keeping the share of labor in total income constant. Here, the main points that there is inverse relation in between degree of monopoly and degree of monopoly and the share of profit, share of wages, sorry. There is the inverse relation in between share of wages and degree of monopoly power, while there if there is increase in degree of monopoly power, the share of profit increases. But due to change in price of raw materials, it is possible to maintain the labor's share constant even in period of boom as well as depression, as discussed by Kalki in his theory of income distribution. In this slide, I will discuss critique of the degree of monopoly theory of distribution. Firstly, Kalki brings out the important point that the growth of monopolies increases profits and consequently reduces the share of wages in the total income. Secondly, perfect competition would look after their legitimate share. But he forgets that profits are also due to entrepreneurial efficiency and their innovative capacity, their basic function of uncertainty bearing. Next, moreover, it is not necessary that monopolistic firms charge maximum profits. Again, the workers do also unite and may exercise some degree of countervailing monopoly power. And lastly, inclusion of only manual labor under worker is also a very narrow view of this class. Having these points against this degree of monopoly theory of income distribution given by Kalki, it's having its own limitation, but to a certain extent this theory makes itself able to show that degree of monopoly prevailing in the market having its say in deciding the share of total income in two factors, that is labor and entrepreneur, or it may be said that income is divided in between wages and profits as according to the monopoly or degree of monopoly prevailing at that very time.